How are you?
Hi, sir. We want to, first of all, congratulations on your victory. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I feel good.
What do you think, when you look back on the events of today, we saw a lot that was sort of unexpected transpire over the course, certainly of the morning, when the senators vote to call witnesses and then decided to cast that vote aside, essentially, and proceed with a vote. What sort of surprised you the most?
Nothing really surprised me. What had happened was the day before we demolished their case, and they were like a dying animal that we had trapped in the corner. And so this morning, their last gasps were be swinging out at us, trying to save their case, and it didn't work. So we were kind of expecting them pulling something. There was a stipulation the night before. They pulled it out from under the rug at about 10 minutes before we walked into the Senate chamber this morning. We're trial lawyers. We're used to taking anything that comes our way, and we shift, pivot, adjust, and move forward, and that's exactly what we did.
Michael, I want to ask you, we've read the statement from former President Trump on our air, but have you talked to your client, and what was his initial reaction to you?
I don't discuss any attorney-client communications in any way.
Well, would it be fair to say that the president is reacting positively to what he saw and what has transpired today?
I would assume that is what he's doing. He had a good day in court today. He was vindicated. He was found not guilty. The political witch hunt that they had, that the Democrats had thrown at him, was defeated. So he should feel quite pleased.
Michael, one of the things that you and your colleagues referenced over and over again during the course of this week was that there were really 4 core reasons for senators to acquit President Trump. When you look back on how things have unfolded, which of those arguments do you think senators relied on the most? Was it this idea of the unconstitutionality of the trial? Was it falling back on the president's own First Amendment rights? What do you think made the big difference?
That's a really good question, because it was very interesting. We had to go with all 4 grounds of acquittal because different senators had different interests. And, for example, some senators' due process was absolutely important to them. Other senators, just the fact that they were unable in any way to put on a case and prove the merits of their case held the day. I do think there were a large number that still thought there was no jurisdiction here, and they were right when they thought that way. And of course, the Senate Rule 23, it's in black and white. They live by these rules. So certainly that was something they could hang their hat on, though, too. To get to 2/3, to beat the 2/3 and get the win in this, we had to really be strategic about what senators were going to be listening to what arguments.
Michael, I think that the Senate certainly reacted when we were in that roller coaster over the witnesses. You were making the argument that you could have 100 or more witnesses. And at one moment, the Senate laughed at you. They seemed to give you a hard time. I want to ask you what your impressions were as a Philadelphia lawyer that came down here to argue this case. What was it like for you? What is your reaction to the way you were treated? And then a follow-up on that. How have you been treated as a result of defending the president? There are reports your house was graffitied. My home was attacked. I'd rather not go into that. To answer your question, my entire family, my business, my law firm are under siege right now. I don't really want to go into that, though. What I'd really like to do is talk about the merits of the case. They didn't have a case, and they shouldn't have brought this impeachment from the beginning. It really does stem from political hatred, and I really wish that this country would come into the middle. It's so polarized on the left and on the right, and what this nation and what these politicians need to do is they need to come into the middle.
what happened in the chamber this morning, I could have very much misunderstood their laughter. Mike, we laugh because that's exactly how, you're a lawyer. That's what happens. You want a witness, you drop a subpoena. You want to get information, you take a deposition. And when you said you're going to do it up in Philadelphia, well, of course you are, because that's the way it should be done. But I think most of them were probably laughing at just reality setting in that this is the way it would be done. But I'm in there, I'm boxing, and I don't like laughter so much. So I may have taken it the wrong way. I had a team of lawyers and legal professionals, the staff in my firm back up in Philadelphia, the folks that came down here with me, super people, hearts of gold. None of us are political really in that way. And we had a constitutional duty to defend this case, to defend this client. And we did this case like absolutely every other case my firm handles. We threw everything at it. Every resource we had, we gave it to this case. We put this defense together in 8 days. And I'm proud of my team. I'm pleased with my team, prides us in. I'm pleased with my team and our team. And it was very difficult down here because it's so partisan, it's so political. The media was very unkind to us. I can't tell you how many names I was called and how many different papers or media outlets. And I'm just a working guy and trying to do the best we can every day at the job that we're blessed to be able to do.
Michael, thanks for joining us and giving us a chance to talk to you. We always keep it fair and balanced here at Fox News. I want to ask you for your reaction to one of the only, as far as I could tell, watching this trial every hour, every day this week, new pieces of information we got, which came from House managers. They laid out, I think this came on Wednesday.
It's interesting you say It's interesting you say information, because it was probably second and third hand information. What they needed to come into the Senate chamber with was evidence, proof, facts. And they were devoid of all of that.
They did lay out the case on Wednesday that when it comes to the events of January 6th, the pro-Trump rally that occurred was originally scheduled for January 23rd. They laid out evidence that it was actually the Trump team, it was the campaign working with the White House that decided to move it back to January 6th, which is the day that we saw these unfortunate events, the rampage on the Capitol. What's your response to that piece of evidence?
They didn't. They didn't lay out any competent evidence to show that at all. The evidence showed that this was a premeditated, pre-planned attack on the Capitol by extremists on both the left and the right. And I can't say enough. Myself as a citizen, all of the American people, we want the middle. We want people to come together and start solving the problems of this nation. That's what has to happen. Yep. And so I think, and I'm hopeful that winning this impeachment trial today is going to help folks do that.
Well, congratulations, Michael Van Der Veen.
Thank you.
The counsel to the former president.